This is the home of Clelia Peronneau McGowan, 5 St. Michael's Alley. She was the first leader of the poetry group or study group, which was a gathering of active poets that met under the auspices of the Poetry Society of South Carolina. It was formed to serve to better the writing of its members, much like the 2 groups under Laura Bragg and John Bennett that joined forces to found the Poetry Society in 1920. They met at the home of Elizabeth Warren Jones, directly next door at number 7. The 2 women were similar in age, around 60 at the time of the first meeting of the group, and shared a similar past of having been widowed young. Jones was widowed at age 38, and McGowan at 33. The minutes of the first meeting state, "We all know why this group was formed, to encourage local talent and to act as a stimulus and further better work from the membership. The first participants were carefully chosen, and any new members had to be voted in." The initial group included 18 men and women who were almost the entirety of true poetic talent in the Poetry Society, including all its founders except for John Bennett. Meetings took place every fortnight here at 7 St. Michael's Place, which was referred to affectionately as headquarters of the group. Coincidentally, DeBose Hayward lived next door at number 9 St. Michael's Place between 1915 and 1919. Like the Poetry Society itself, they took summers off and adjourned their first season in April 1922. When they resumed for the second season in November, John Bennett was elected into the group. He and Citadel professor Dr. Hugh Swinton McGillivray took on the role of the supreme bench of poetical appeals, affirming or setting aside judgments as the evidence warranted of the lower critics. Their meeting minutes describe rather lively gatherings of interesting discussions, news of poetry, guest speakers, and liberal use of alcohol and coffee at the social part of the meeting after the business was dispatched. These meetings often went well into the wee hours of the morning. Arabella Shackelford-Mazik, a librarian at the Charleston Library Society, took over leadership of the poetry group after Clelia McGowan relinquished the role after the 3rd season. Although Clelia P. McGowan published 1 volume of poetry in her lifetime, she made her mark not in poetry, but as a groundbreaking civic leader. She was active in the suffrage movement as the president of the League of Women Voters, then became the first woman in South Carolina appointed to public office when she served on the State Board of Education under Governor Robert Cooper. Through her appointment, she led efforts to improve education for African Americans across the state. She was the first woman elected to Charleston City Council and later secured funding from the Rosenwald Fund and the Carnegie Corporation to start the Charleston Free Library in 1931. She remained on the library's board for 26 years. She was active in many charitable organizations and other causes until she retired from those activities at the age of 90. She passed away in 1956 at the age of 91.